Hi, my name's Emily, and I have a Etsy store named Yesterday's Stash. And today I'm going to show you a book that I have recently put together. It is called Grandma's Attic, and it is old, memorable items that you might find if you went to the old home place. So that's kind of the theme, but it's still a part of my Hopeful 2021 series, and I believe this is book 9 that I have been working on all year with intentionally putting positivity statements or positive statements or inspirational statements. And I've done a couple where I used Bible verses, but this particular one uses inspirational positivity statements, as well as has pictures of different things that you might find at the old home place. And what I used was, my son-in-law recently went through a factory in the western part. I live in North Carolina, and we have furniture manufacturers, and this beautiful soft leather is they give it away free in their factories. You could just come around and pick it up, and it's big enough that I could probably get another book out of it. But it just feels so good that I'm using it for making and that's what this is. And then a couple of weeks ago, I went to a beach on the eastern part of North Carolina, and there were like 10 different thrift stores. And my friends and I, went out and did a little bit of thrift shopping and looked around, and we just found, and this is what I found there, was it looks like the border of an old curtain, and this looks like something that you would find, hanging on a big drape that is in a living room. And so I brought them home, and I washed them really good in Dawn, and air dried them, and to see what I had here. And what it is, the person actually sewed two pieces, this ruffle and this lace, together. And so I have that on as a border on the book. And the book is 8x6, and it has a 3-inch spine. And what I did was I put one of these between the signatures, so that I could have a way for it to, for the enclosure, to have a place to stay or to be set. So that is a little bit about the book, and I actually have a kit on my Etsy store that has many of these memorable images, a digital kit called Memorable Images from Time Gone By, or mostly they're vintage images that you might, find at the old home place. And I just have found, I have so many memories of going to the old home place and having a lot of things, that I didn't know that they used to do it this way, or they used to do it that way, or, and so I just found that to be a really interesting project. And so I have used several of those images in this book. I have used, I can't remember if I used a piece of cardstock or a manila folder to make the book have some sturdiness. And I believe, many of my books are very, they have a sturdiness about them. And I always add an extra layer to what I am attaching the spine to before I put the spine on. And the spine is really one of the last things that I put on the book. So The book itself is, let's see, let me get them, what I put it, 68 pages, all total, and 136 if you take front and back. And it is got 3 signatures in it. There are over 40 removable tags, and that would be both the pictures of the images from, the farmhouse images, or also some of the positivity quotes. And there are over 30 attached images, and most of them are the positivity quotes. And I use quite a few of our Etsy sellers. Since I'm an Etsy seller myself, I use quite a few of the Etsy sellers' positive quotes, and I'll have a copy of those in the description box below. And there's over 35 pages for journaling on that have. So in looking at the first signature, I put a lot of room in between the signatures, so that because it's just I really like the texture, and I have found that it works out better, that the book just doesn't really flap open if I put some room in between, and that's why it's a 3-inch spine and only 3 signatures, because I add width to the pages by putting different items on it. This particular first page came out of a book, and it is where the person who did it actually took a piece of paper and did hand sewing by having a ground or dirt, and then the picture, and did some loose machine stitching on it. And then I added this binding to it, and made it into a pocket where I have stationery and an envelope that you can pull out and use for something. And then this is a positivity quote here. The inside is where I found an Etsy seller that makes these button panels, or button where you can buy. And I have since found buttons that will go on here nicely, and so I have really enjoyed putting buttons as an insert in a tag, or as a tag. And then this is an old seed catalog from 1894. So everything is going to be aged looking, and is going to have some variants of, or not everything, but many parts of the book is going to have, a reminder of something old. So here is a page for writing notes, and then this right here is I found a binder that had a whole bunch of date and to-do list and notes. And I thought if a person wanted to, they could, make copies of this or make their own. But that's, a journal page on this side. And then I found, one of the things that I found in the thrift store is these envelopes here. And they were $3, and there's like probably, my goodness, probably 80. And what they are, they're long cards that probably are used by a bank. And so what I did was I sewed a piece of fabric in between these and cut off this end and made a page that, this is the fabric, and then I opened it up so that it's actually to the envelope. You can see the envelope, what it looks like, then I did some stenciling on it. And then this is an old Mother Hubbard old book that belonged for children. This is a tag of an old little child, and it says it's written in French, and I can't read it. And here's another plant seed envelope or package that is used, and then so I made a couple of these, or one for each and the fabric, you know, just does really well. So I'm going to plan to use those envelopes for that. I haven't come up with another good plan for how to do that. And this is an actual piece of stationery that says Believe. And then I took a bag. It actually had, the bag had chalk on it. So I took the bag and I cut it apart and to make it into a pocket. And this is just a piece of old music that I stuck in there. So this is an old bag. So I've got stationery, I've got envelopes, I've got an old bag, just a variety of things to make the book. This is some coffee dyed 32-pound paper that is good for writing on. This is a piece of stationery that could be written on. This is a bookshelf with a positivity statement on it. This came from Tsunami Rose, this side. And then I printed the bookshelf on the other side. And then here are some things that you might see at the old home place. This is an old stroller that has a floral arrangement in it. It's been reused. And then this is those tin signs that we used to see. This is for ice cream. And then this is a positivity statement. It says, "What good shall I do this day?" This particular piece of paper, or Digi came from, I believe it came from Nik the Booksmith. It's one of the first ones she did, and I have just continued to use it. It has really, the color works really well in kind of my tastes. Then I have some other booksellers, or not booksellers, but Etsy sellers, that I have used some of these papers. I think one of them is called grunge paper. And then we all have our paper dolls. And this is the one from Tim Holtz called Paper Dolls. And so what I did was I took a piece of this transparency film, and I like to use it as pockets because it makes it clear and you can still see or use it. So I've taken this and I've cut it up, and I have made 2 pockets, and they have some of the paper dolls in them. So this is one set of a boy and a girl, and this is the other set of a boy and a girl that I just simply sewed it onto the paper. And this paper I will put in the description box who that belongs to. Here's another interesting weekly list. And what came out of that is just in a bin at the thrift store. And I've said this, and I'll say this quite a bit, is that my books are only as good as the thrift stores that I go to and the things that I can find. So I do spend time in thrift stores just looking for interesting, unique things, or that I think I could use in a book. And so this was a whole set of this, and I can't tell who printed it or what it was supposed to be for, because this is all that it was. And I probably used about half of these here in various things and in this book. And then the inside of all of the signatures, the very inside is what I really found to be interesting is this. It's confetti. It's Brides Confetti. It's a wedding collection from the editors of Brides magazine. And that's what I found, just like this, in the store. And it's all kinds of, and I can't open it right this minute, but it is all kinds of confetti, but it's all these types of flowers. And so I took them and glued them together in the very middle to sort of hold that together. And then this is an image from memorable images of time gone by, of an old coffee cup, an old like oil lamp, and some old books, and just an array of different things. And then I have an old book up here, and then I have just put a couple of pieces of ephemera in here that you can use, and I believe it is a piece that you can actually stick it. It has it's a sticker. It's a big sticker. And then right here are more from that digital kit. It's old bottles. These are green bottles, and I don't know, in time gone by, in my old home place, we used to have what's called an ice house. It was an old barn that was very cold when you went in. It was a dirt floor and ice was in there. But we also had an ice compost. Well, not ice, but a compost. It was this huge, like, big crater in the bottom of the very back part. And so in time gone by, we've gone back and looked at those and seen a lot of the bottles and other items too, but mainly to collect the bottles from the old home place. So that's something that I have put there. This is the back of the page with the books on it. This is a page that is wallpaper, and this is another one. It's a pocket watch, grandfather's pocket watch, or a pocket watch that and I have a little bunch of buttons dangling here. This is the other side of the paper bag that has a chalk on it. And then this is an interesting that I recently saw a video that was done by Lori Girl on the Ridge and Maggie Smith, and they were doing a project where you take playing cards and you make a tag, or you could make, you know, a little say centerpiece for a book, or the centerpiece on a page. And I just had the best time, and I will put that video that I got the idea from, I will put that in the description box. But this is a picture of an old chair that has old books in it and some old buttons that I really enjoyed, and I have a lot of playing cards. My family played a lot of cards, and I have just bunches of decks of cards. And this is where you make candles. You dip candles in the wax, and you hang them like this to set. And this is the back of the card. This is the other side of the envelope, and I've put some old papers in here. This is from a dinner menu from the Hotel Coronado. This is a Wanamaker store tea room. Just some old papers from time gone by that I put in there. Did some stenciling. And I also ran across a bag that had a bunch of these wicker, bits of wicker, pieces of wicker. So I have been using them to make little folds and pockets on book pages. And then this is a piece of wallpaper that I ran across that I made a pocket from. And so that's the first signature. This is where I had fun playing with collaging and put several positivity statements on it. And I did that on a dark craft paper, so it's a real thick, and more journaling pages. This is from a kit. This says hope. And then this is where I played around with some eco paper, trying to, and then I actually I made a copy of the eco paper on photograph paper, so it's nice and shiny. And here's some more of that advertisement paper. Another one of those pieces of stationery. This is a where in time gone by you had a little like side table or side cabinet, and you would put water in the warm water, or you would heat water and put it in the pitcher and then you would wash your face in this pitcher. And here's some old candle stand, and that also is in my digital kit. Here's some recipes, recipe cards. These are some more positivity statements that I got off of public domain. Again, another center with those confetti, wedding confetti. And this is more positivity statements from the public domain. Games would be something that we might find in the old home place. And this is a list of brain teasers. Who is always clean and touches the sky but is rarely seen by the naked eye? Wait, touches the sky. Rarely, I don't get that one. Anyway, it's a bunch of brain teasers. Which fruit comes every month? Dates. All right, so it's kind of silly and crazy, but I found this at a thrift store. It's called Ridley's Games Room. I found it for $1, and it's just a whole group of brain teaser questions. Some of them make more sense than others, but I put several in here, and that would be, you know, fun just to have. Here's a picture of, this came from Tsunami Rose, and it's of an old hammock or hassock, you know, what they used to call, where you would have that sitting out in your yard. You know, we have hammocks today, but they were something that was created. And then I was able to actually get some lace to run through my plastic tablecloth the last time I did some coffee dyeing. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then right here is another page. This is actually from my Porch Prints, and it is again using that transparency paper. And this is an old piano that you might find in the attic of, would be very heavy, but maybe in the basement or someplace stored in an old house. This is an old-timey iron, and then this is an old-timey suitcase with books. These are the kinds of things that are in the digital kit that I put together. This is something I played with that was fun. I took a picture out of a magazine and cut it up and put a tape around, did a fussy cut. And then I actually did some sewing around the leaves, the green leaves, so I did that in green. And then the pink I did, so it's kind of a 3D look. And then just a butterfly that I found at the thrift store. And here's another example where leaves and doing some stitching around the leaves, and be a nice human. This is the center of the second and third, and this is where I put those clasps that look like this on the outside of the book, so that we could have a pocket to run through, or an area to run in that. So that's what that is. And now we're on to the last. These are some envelopes that I found that I just threw in here. And then this is, I don't know if it's a Manet or a Monet, but it's a painting. You might find an old painting in an old house. And then this is just a note card. I think it says note. So old letters and envelopes and things of that nature. Stamps is something you might, old stamps. And then this is some tickets or receipts, invoices, receipts, and advertisements. And I played around this side, with doing kind of a stitch on the craft paper, and then this is the other kind of collage that I put together, and I put a Mod Podge on it and ran a candle over it to smooth it out so that it wouldn't be sticky. Wax, putting wax on it, and this is another piece of stationery. It says Hope. An old clock could be found. I don't believe that I have the pocket watch. This came from Tsunami Rose. And then this is some library cards, checkout cards from the library. So there could be some old library books. And here's another one of the same. And I put a Mary Englebright card that you can pull out and use. It's talks about old friends, and this particular one has an old doll and a baby carriage, an old radio, and another one of a seed catalog that I put in this one. And again, I have some more of those weekly lists. And then this is an interesting something that I found in a thrift store, and it was $1, and it had never been used, and it was this envelope, and it had these in it, which I really thought was interesting. I don't exactly know. It's some sort of way to organize that I put in here that you can pull them out and use them, or put them together. And then I have the clef paper clips, and I have another group of package of paper that I found in a thrift store, just sort of lying there. My brilliant ideas, and it's brilliant idea number 1, date, project, brilliance. How brilliant is it? Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I put that in there in case you wanted to have, or someone wanted to collect their brilliant ideas. This is an old postcard that has writing on it, and it's from Durham, North Carolina. And then this is more of that bag, and some of the envelopes that have old items in them. This is an old trunk. Old things that you would see at the old home place. This is an old fan. Or no, these are paper handkerchiefs. They're not paper, but they're cloth. I mean, they're meant to be cloth handkerchiefs that are in here. This is an old rocking horse. This is a red barn. You might find that back in or barn, or the old red barn, or there are a lot of red barns or barns in old home places. This is some paper that I played with and echo dyed. And then this is a book, a little booklet that I put together that has where you can pick up it and go and keep your notes in them. And this stationery, this has the, I recently found this green, really neat green lace that is a lace green with green in it that I thought went well with that. You can pull some of this stuff out that's causing bulk. Here's that same picture again of an old coffee pot, an old book, some old urns, and just different things of that nature that are in on this page. And I actually put some Mod Podge on that to keep it. And then this is just a piece of floral paper, old, with that I thought would be interesting for writing on, another page to jot down. This is an old sewing machine. This is an actual postcard set that I found of insects. And it says here, insects which feed on the beech tree or whatever. So it's just really interesting. And I put that in there. And then this is the last page. And the last page has another, it's what we call sage. It's and I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but it's called a smudge stick collection. And a smudge stick is, you set it in a fireproof and you let it burn and it puts off an aroma, and then you take it and you wave it around and it's supposed to bring, I don't know, luck or positive energy or whatever. And I found them at, where did I find this? At a TJ Maxx, and I was with a girlfriend and she was like, oh, I want this. And so it's kind of messy. It's got blue sage in it, and then this is called yerba. But it's just a bundle of neat sticks that could be used in putting together a nature book or some of the and so it kind of has a nice pleasant smell to it. So I took some felt and kind of made a little bouquet of dried sage that I just stuck right here in the back. And that concludes the book. You can find this book in my Etsy store, Yesterday's Stash. And it was so much fun to put this together because I just was constantly thinking of the old home place where I didn't grow up there, but I could run across a field and be there. And all of the old equipment and the oldness about the place that just has a lot of fond memories of growing up with my cousins and running around that, picking up acorns, swinging in the swing, going out to the ice hole. We called it an ice hole, not because it was an ice, we had an ice house and an ice hole, but the ice hole was not ice. It was actually kind of a where you put your things in it. That was your trash. And I guess before we had formal dumps where people would go, they had their own quote unquote ice hole. So that concludes this. What a great journey. It's called Grandma's Attic, and I really enjoyed putting it together. I thank you for coming along and watching this process. The name of my store is Yesterday's Stash, and I really enjoy putting together these junk journals. So thanks again for watching, and we'll talk again soon.